Hi everybody, Eli here. So, in the running of a homestead, I have found that some of the skills that I learned in running a medical practice and working with various organizations have come in really handy to organize myself. So I still work part-time away from our homestead, farm, and ranch and our endeavor here. And so I just have to really make the most use of the time that I do have available. And I do lots of things like having people sign up to buy eggs or bread or anything else that we sell our excess of, or people who want to come and visit. And rather than pay monthly for a service that manages events and customers and things like that, there's a free, really easy to use option in Google Forms that you could set up so that you don't have to manually take orders and put stuff down. People basically sign themselves up. All you have to do is send them a link to the form. So I'm going to show you quick how to do that. And if you already know how to do it, then please enter comments about how it can be done more easily. But if you just open up a web browser window and you can search for something here, we're going to go to Drive. And if you have a Gmail account or a Google account, you have Drive. So you'll see if you type that in, drive.google.com, it'll bring you to a folder system. And by default, you're in this place called My Drive. Now I have lots and lots of folders in My Drive, but I'm not going to organize it. I'll leave that up to you. It can just stay in My Drive. And you're going to come over here to New, and you're going to come down to Forms. And if you don't see Forms, just click More, and then it might be hidden down here. If it's something you don't use often, Google will kind of hide it. So I'm just going to do a blank form. And let's say I'm going to set this up for eggs. It could be for eggs. It could be if you're doing a run to another state to pick up stuff for multiple people. It could be if you're delivering plants or other things in a multi-city route. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to call this Egg People. And when you type in the name right here, it should populate up here if you just click on this top left part, and that names your form. So I'm going to add the word form here, and then I'll add it up here. And the reason for that is because when we're done making the form, we're going to make a spreadsheet where you can just open that spreadsheet up and see who's there. And the only time you'd have to come back to the form is if you wanted to make a change. You can put a description in, and if it's something complicated or you've got directions or a disclaimer or a waiver of liability that people have to acknowledge, you could put all that in right here. I'm not going to take the time to type anything. This is just where you'd put your description. So the first one, I want to know the person's name. So I would put name in that field. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click Required. And there's lots of options here. Short answer is good. I'll also show you multiple choice. And then you can add some information here underneath the name if you wanted to by clicking here. Let me move my camera. By clicking these three little dots and click on description, it would then let you say something about this, like customer's name. Something like that. Okay. Now we want more information than that, I'm sure. So I not only want their name, but I want to know their address. And since I copied the last one, I didn't even, let me show you. So down here is this little cool button where you can just duplicate the last field, and it will pick up the fact that it's required and what kind of answer you picked. It saves you time in having to completely type it over and over again. So I also want their phone, and I'm going to put in parentheses text for text. Not that I want to spend a lot of time on the phone. And of course I would take that out, right? I would make that out of address too. Okay, so that's their name, their address. Now, what do they want, right? So let's duplicate this one. And now is a place where we might use multiple choice. So we could put product here. And then under this drop down, we could have check boxes. And if you put check boxes, they can select more than one. If you do multiple choice, they can only select one, like in a test. So here I might put eggs, chicken, and then I might add eggs, duck, and then we sell lots of bread. So we could have something like that. And then preferred day of the week or location. And then if it's location, you can just go through. So we have several locations, right? We have Muskogee at Zomac Music because we're taking the kids to lessons. We have Wagoner at Miranda's. We have Holbert at City Hall. And we have Ranch pickup. We also have others, but I won't take the time to type all those. We have one in Tahlequah and Fort Gibson, all that. And so then again, they can check. Now this one, I would make multiple choice so that they have to pick one place. And that's where you can see the difference. You can add anything else in there that you want to know. Do they want their eggs washed? Do they want, you know, some other product? You could also put the price after these, so if they have questions about that or can't remember, it's right there. Lots of different ways to do this. Okay, when you're done doing all of your fields and you want to come over here to responses, and then you want to click this little button that says link to sheets and create a new spreadsheet. And now it will create a new spreadsheet. And if you come up in Tools and come to Notification Settings, you can edit when you get an email. And so I want to know when any changes are made. And it's going to tell you where it's emailing you right there. And just hit Save. Oh, right away. You have to click one in both. And done. And now this is going to be in the same place as the form, in the same folder, so to speak. But now you'll see that it says responses, and that's why I added form to the first one. So I could easily tell the difference just from the name of the file. And this is where the responses will come. And I'm going to show you now how do we send it. So you click on Send. And then it's going to give you options here. So you can send it an email, you can send a link. I'm going to send a link out, so I want to shorten the URL by clicking that. And now I'm going to copy that. Usually I have a document for each form, business that I'm working on. And I would have that document open and I would just paste a link to the form. And that's what I would call it. That's how I keep that organized. And so that's done. You have the link. Now let's open up another window and let's go to that form. And you'll see what it looks like. You can do lots of cool stuff in styling these with headers and pictures. You can change the color, all of that stuff. So let's do Test Eli. And I'll put a 1 in there. I'm just saving time here. And I want chicken eggs. And I'm going to pick them up in Wagoner. Now, of course, I would have had something in here that said, how many do you want? Do you want it washed or unwashed? So there's definitely things I need to know about my customers that I want them to go ahead and fill out on their own. And then we'll hit Submit. You can change this response in the form itself. You can edit that so that it has a particular message in there for them. So now what happened, here's the spreadsheet. And you basically get a spreadsheet with all of the information in the columns. I would definitely collect email address. Like, I want to be able to communicate with these people. So that is how you do a form. How do you find it later? Because people have a tendency to lose, right? Lose stuff. Let's come over here. So when you come over to your drive, you can just search, and then you can search by the name. So egg form, or egg, what was it? Egg people. And right here it'll bring up the spreadsheet. If you want to edit the form, I'll show you. So you click on responses here, which is opens the spreadsheet. And then when you're in here, you can edit the form, manage form under tools, and then go to edit. So it's pretty easy to get back to it as long as you remember to go to drive.google.com. Okay, that's it. Thanks all.